Fans heading over the Roberto Clemente Bridge into PNC Park. Big game tonight for the Pirates as they'll play the third of a 4-game set with the San Diego Padres. Pirates have dropped the first two. We take a look now at the National League Central Division standings. The Cardinals now a game up on the Pirates, with the Reds 2.5 in back of the Cardinals, a game and a half behind Pittsburgh. Hi again, everybody. Along with Bob Walk, I'm Tim Neverett. We'll be joined by Robbie Ince-Mikowski in a short while. Bob, this is a game the Pirates have to win. It's not about the wild card. It's about winning the division. It starts tonight. They got to win this game.
Exactly. That's what we're trying to do. That's what everybody wants. You want to win the division so you can avoid that one-game playoff. You want to, really get into the heart of the playoffs right away. And, to do that, you're one game back, 11 left. You got to be in playoff mode right now. Every game's so important here on out. I realize, you can't win all these games. It'll be very difficult to do, but you have to do every single thing positive. The focus has to be there like no other games are up till this point. The rest of the year, this is the playoffs already starting.
And they're going to have to win this game tonight against the team that's been dominant at PNC Park since this ballpark opened in 2001. The Padres have won 30 of the 40 meetings between these two teams.
Yeah, there really is no explaining this. I mean, this has been different managers, different players, but it seems to not make any difference. And obviously, one of the things that the Padres have done well over the years, hitting over 300 with runners in scoring position. That's always a good way to win ball games.
If the Pirates are going to have a chance to split this series, they've got to win tonight. And tonight, it's Charlie's chance. Charlie Morton has a chance to be the stopper for the Pirates and get them back in the win column and shrink the magic number. Pirates and Padres coming up from PNC Park. Charlie Morton's night. He's being called upon to stop the back-to-back losses at the hands of the Padres. Charlie taking the field. Our Root Sports field cam following him out, taking you right with him. As Charlie takes the hill tonight, game number 152 on the season with 10 to play after tonight in the regular season. Morton facing the Padres for the third time in his career. Bud Black's lineup for the Padres: Will Venable and Ronnie Cedeno in the 2 spot. 5 out of 8 this series. He's stolen a base and scored 2 runs. Jed Jerko from Morgantown batting 3rd. Chase Headley in the cleanup spot. Tommy Medica starts again at first base. Jesus Guzman in left. Raymond Fuentes is in center. Rene Rivera doing the catching, and the pitcher is right-hander Tyson Ross. It's the lineup that will face Charlie.
Take a look at Charlie's numbers, brought to you by Chevrolet. Making his 18th start of the season. And one of the things that you always look at early in a ball game, I was talking to Teak about it during the pregame show, is he getting those ground balls, especially with the right-hand hitters tonight. That'll be an early tip-off as to how Charlie's night is going to go.
Guys will be making the plays behind Charlie tonight. Starling Marte starting his 2nd game in a row in left field. Andrew McCutchen in center. Marlon Byrd is the right fielder. Alvarez and Barmes on the left side of the infield. Walker and Morneau on the right, with John Buck doing the catching. Buck caught Charlie's outing in St. Louis, the very short outing when Charlie injured his left foot. Buck was behind the plate to start that game. So the veteran catcher, veteran of more than 1,000 big league games, John Buck, will put a sign down for Charlie, and Charlie will deliver to Will Venable. And we're underway with ball 1. .273 the average for Venable. 22 home runs. He's a 20-20 guy. He has 20 stolen bases to go along with his 22 homers. 1 ball and 1 strike to Venable. Well, for Morton, 3rd start against San Diego in his career. His other 2 have been kind of spread out. He beat Tim Stauffer, who was a starter. Now Stauffer comes out of the bullpen, but this was in the 09 season. And he beat him in a September game. But his first win over the Padres came when he was a member of the Atlanta Braves on the 12th of July in 2008. And the pitcher on the other side was Greg Maddux. Braves would win that day 4-1 for Charlie.
Well, Charlie had a very nice run going before he had the problems with his foot. Very consistent for about 6 or 7 starts in a row. You'd like to have him reel a couple of really good ones off before you get to that postseason.
First ground ball of the game, and Morneau handles it. 1 down for San Diego.
Usually gets all those ground balls off sinkers. He got a nice little curveball backdoored it, brought it in over the outside half. Venable tries to pull it, rolls the hands over, ground ball.
1 out, and Charlie will now face Ronnie Cedeno, former teammate here in Pittsburgh. Cedeno
played a great game last night.
He did. He had 3 hits, played a good game defensively. 0-1 to Cedeno. Cedeno's bounced around a bit. Seattle, Chicago, Houston, just to name a few. Of course, Pittsburgh as well.
He has games like last night where he looks like a world beater. He gets the hits. He makes the tremendous plays on defense. And then, of course, he has the poor games also. And because of those inconsistencies, that's why he has all that team luggage from all those different places. If you want to play in one spot for a while, you have to be consistent game after game in what you're going to deliver. And Ronnie, at least through his 20s, never been able to find that.
Charlie strikes him out.
Well, some pretty good hooks to start things off.
2 outs for San Diego in the top of the 1st inning.
Nice. Charlie really has got that curveball this year coming along.
Morton now will face Jed Jerko, who almost single-handedly beat the Pirates last night with 1 swing in the 3rd inning. He had a 3-run home run. He also had 2 other hits, scored another run, and threw his glove all over the place in the field and made every play. 1-0 pitch. Jeff Locke last night was the one who gave up the home run to Jett in the third inning. Jeff went 5, struck out 5, but gave up 4 earned runs and was tagged for the loss. His 6th. 3 balls and no strikes now to Jerko. Jerko out of Morgantown, as we've told you during the course of this series. A lot of folks from that area in West Virginia have been coming up to PNC Park to watch him. We're up in the middle of Pirates country, but playing against them and contributing to an enemy victory last night. Ball 4. Charlie, a 2-out walk. And Jerko down to first base.
A little movement on that sinker, took it right out of the strike zone. Looked like it was going to hang on there at the knees, but gravity took over, pulled that ball right down. That's that same movement, though, but generates all those ground balls. Ray Searage is looking on, keeping his charts.
Headley had 1 hit in the game last night, walked twice, and this one toward the middle. There's Barmes. Easy play to first. Padres leave a man after a half inning. It's the Padres nothing and the Pirates coming to bat. Marte will lead things off for the Bucks. Had a bunt base hit last night. Hopes to contribute more on offense again tonight. Neil Walker batting second, then Andrew McCutcheon. Justin Morneau in the cleanup spot. Marlon Byrd fifth. Pedro sixth. John Buck, since joining the Pirates, 6 of 15, hitting .400 in a Pittsburgh uniform. Clint Barmes will bat eighth, and Charlie Morton bats ninth against right-hander Tyson Ross, the former Oakland Athletic.
Tyson Ross got some nice numbers except for the 3 wins and 8 losses. That's not so nice, but 3.29 ERA, that's not too bad at all. He's only given up 87 hits. Pirates able to beat him in San Diego.
He was 0-1 in 1 career start. So at the time he's faced the Bucks. Marte to the left side. Cedeno took the extra step, and he gets Marte by a step. 1 out for the Pirates in the first. Defensively for San Diego, different looking outfield tonight with Jesus Guzman in left, Raymond Fuentes in center. Venable starts in right. Headley, Cedeno, Jorko, and Medica, with Rene Rivera catching for the second time in 3 games. Ronnie Cedeno with good defensive ability. And there's a guy, Bob, who's literally playing for a contract for next year. He said after the game last night he doesn't know where he's going to be next year, but he has to play as though he's going to be somewhere. Wants somebody to be interested in him. Maybe it's the Padres.
No, his situation is not unusual. Now, this time of year, most teams are out of it, and an awful lot of the players that are getting playing time on those teams that are out of the race, that's what it is. They're playing for next year.
Jerko flips to first. 2 ground balls, 2 outs.
Whether you're a young guy or somebody like Cedeno that's bounced around, there are personal things that certainly are on the line. You're trying to get invitations to big league camp. If you're maybe a young guy that's on your first little taste. Of course, if you're Cedeno, you're trying to show what you can do. Hopefully you can get a new contract for next year. I'm sure he would love to stay in San Diego.
Here's Andrew McCutchen. Hitting .326, still in the top 3 in batting in the National League, chasing the batting crown. He still has Michael Kadire and Chris Johnson ahead of him. Kadire of Colorado, Johnson of Atlanta. McCutchen had 2 hits last night, went 2 for 3 with a double. Finds himself behind Ross now, no balls and 2 strikes. Our Barrel Automotive League leaders stat, there are the National League leaders in hitting. Matt Carpenter and Jason Worth 4 and 5. Barrel driven to be better. McCutchen still with a chance. He's just a tick behind Johnson for 2nd place. McCutchen pops this one up. That is over the Padres dugout into the seats.
For the 2 races, the race for the Central Division crown and the race for the batting crown, very tied together right now. For Kutch to add another 4 or 5 points onto his batting average at this late stage of the year, you really got to get on a tear. If he gets on a tear, that is going to really help the Pirates in their bid to overhaul the Cardinals. Going to go hand in hand.
2 outs and the 2-strike pitch. Hit him. Wow. Got him squarely. 0-2 pitch plunks Andrew McCutchen. Pirates with a man aboard.
Not sure what that pitch was. It might have been a changeup.
Came in at 88.
It looked like it didn't have breaking ball spin on it, though. It looked like it had a normal fastball type spin, which a changeup does. But Ross throws much harder than 88. His fastball's a good 6 mile an hour quicker than that.
Justin Morneau at the plate, swings, fouls it back.
I think that last pitch there, they just threw 86. I think that's what ended up hitting McCutchen with.
Morneau still looking for his first home run as a Pirate. He had 17 in the American League with the Twins. Oh, 1 pitch from Tyson Ross. 1 ball, 1 strike. Morneau came in, had the game-winning RBI in the 8th inning Sunday. It was his first RBI with the Pirates. Helped them beat the Cubs. There goes McCutchen. Throw down by Rivera. In time to get him. McCutchen with a head-first slide, and Cedeno tags him out. First inning in the books. We'll go to the second in a moment. giveaway from a number of years ago. And McCutcheon caught stealing. Did he get a good jump? Not really.
Tell you what, that's a great throw right on the money. Kutch didn't have much of a chance.
Watch what he does with Cedeno. Grabs his leg at the end of this. I wasn't sure at first if Cedeno had stepped on his hand and he was checking to see if he was all right, but they were just playing around.
Horseplay. Yeah, originally that's what I thought too. I thought maybe he was trying to get Ronnie's foot off his hand or something like that.
McCutcheon thrown out for the 10th time this year. Ground ball by Tommy Medica to second base, and Walker throws him out. That's what we like to see out of Charlie Morton. Ground ball outs. They keep hitting him on the ground. They don't hit him out of the ballpark.
Yep. Just put it on the ground and work those infielders.
Jesus Guzman, who has done a good job for the Padres as a pinch hitter, but getting a start tonight.
Ground balls always help you out with pitch counts too. Get some nice quick 2-3 pitch outs.
I'm talking about surrendering home runs. The Pirates have done a very good job in not surrendering home runs this year. Lowest number of home runs given up in the major leagues, 95. They've surrendered just 33 home runs in the first 76 games played at PNC Park this season. It's the fewest amount of home runs given up at home among all big league teams.
PNC Park, definitely a place you like to pitch. It's kind of a fair ballpark that leans toward the pitcher. I would categorize it.
The moon is full. Beautiful shot. Charlie Morton ready to deliver the 1-2. Got him. Guzman down on strike. Second strikeout for Charlie tonight.
Good velocity, good movement down and in. Good late life on that pitch. That is tough to center up. All you're doing is you're hoping you can foul that one off.
Center fielder Raymond Fuentes waves and misses. Fuentes getting an opportunity tonight. Hitting just 150 in limited duty. Strike two to Fuentes. Called up from AAA Tucson on the 26th of August. It was the first time he'd been in the big league. And he is the younger cousin of the Cardinals' Carlos Beltran. Played for the World Team in the Futures game this July. Mark Beltran from Puerto Rico. 1-2. There it is. Strike three. Throws him with a breaking ball. A 10-pitch inning for Charlie Morton. Inning and a half gone by. We're scoreless.
Root Sports is brought to you by Toyota. Now's the time to go places with Toyota. Visit buyatoyota.com for special offers. And by PNC Bank for the achiever in you. Let's go, Bucks!
Pirates looking for a run. They've scored just 2 this entire series so far. And Justin Morneau starts off the bottom of the second with a base hit. A Morneau board in front of Marlon Byrd. Justin starts things off well for the Pirates.
Stays inside the baseball. Nice solid contact on the head of the bat line. Drive the other way. Get it going. First hit of the ball game.
Well, Morneau worked with hitting coach Jay Bell yesterday afternoon. Did some tee work here and worked on just that very thing. Going the other way. Trying to use a big part of the field. Go to the opposite field. Pays off here tonight. Marlon Byrd had 2 runs batted in last night. Originally scored a single and an error on the center fielder Will Venable. Today there was a scoring change and Marlon Byrd was credited with a double. They took the error away from Venable. So a 2-run double last night for Byrd. Got Morneau at first base. Ross delivering 0-1. Marlon Byrd has been quite an addition to this ball club offensively with 83 RBIs. Sits safely in 8 of his last 9 games and 16 out of the 20 games he's been with the Pirates. 2 balls and a strike. And both Byrd and Morneau haven't been here before. In other words, they've not been down the stretch run in a pennant race. These guys, veteran ball players, they're relishing every moment of it. They're realizing that they have a chance to be with a winning ball club down the stretch and perhaps win a division title. Nobody out. 2-2 the count. Byrd right back to Ross. To Jerko for 1. Medica has 2. 2 men out and the base is empty.
That quick one hopper back to the mound. There's not much Morneau can do. If the pitcher does his job, that ball gets back to second real quick. It's hard to put any pressure on the middle infielder. Morneau had to go into a slide way early. Turned out to be an easy double play. The toughest part of that double play there are those throws from the pitcher. A lot of pitchers, they mess them up. They throw wide. They start looking at the infielder, whether it's the second baseman or the shortstop, and try to lead them. They'll mess up that toss.
Pedro takes up and away. Pedro's got some company on top of that home run list. Goldschmidt of Arizona tied with him. And Jay Bruce of Cincinnati with a grand slam last night against Houston. He now has 30. He's in the rearview mirror. Pedro lifts this one to center field, and here comes Fuentes to make the catch. Pedro is now hitless in his last 15 at bats. We'll go to the third, still scoreless.
the North Shore. I'm Robbie and Smikowski. Well, last night we celebrated Roberto Clemente Day here on Root Sports, and as Padres catcher Rene Rivera gets set to bat, he's another native of Puerto Rico and yet another baseball player who idolized Roberto growing up. And he said the one thing that he remembered as a kid was that Roberto Clemente, one thing he learned, and that all Puerto Rican baseball players learned, what he was never afraid to help someone out. And that's the first thing that they teach these kids. Yes, you want to be a great baseball player, but more importantly, you want to help others out. And that is one thing that helped inspire him to play the game of baseball. And this year, Rene Rivera is going to play winter ball in his native Puerto Rico. He's done that before, but everything baseball, everything that they do is in honor of him down there in Puerto Rico. So he was very happy to spend Roberto Clemente Day here in Pittsburgh, PA, Tim.
Yeah, it was a nice celebration. Nice celebration yesterday. The Clemente family was on hand. Roberto's wife Vera and sons Luis and Ricky were here. Roberto Jr. was in Houston celebrating at another Clemente Day function. And Rivera grounds out quickly to Pedro Alvarez.
Another quick out. This is looking like it's going to be a great game for Charlie. The sinker's just exploding down. Great movement on it. And he's getting these quick ground ball outs.
That's the ground chuck we were hoping to see.
Absolutely. I hope John Buck's got a strong thumb on that on his catching hand, because that baby's getting hammered tonight. Every one of those sinkers coming in just pounds on your thumb. As you turn that glove sideways as you catch it with the thumb down, and your thumb is what takes the blow as that fastball, that sinking fastball at about 93 hits it at every pitch.
0-2 pitch to Ross.
Some catchers will have like an insert type thing that will roll like a hard plastic, almost like a PVC pipe type plastic that you can put your thumb into, and it gives it a little support when you're having to catch somebody like Charlie. That ball is coming in and it's just sinking, and just as you're catching it, it just pounds down on your thumb, pitch after pitch after pitch.
Russell Martin the night off tonight. John doesn't wear any other kind of a batting glove or anything underneath, just the bare hand. Ross strikes out. Strikeout number 4 for Morton.
Well, this is as good as we've seen Charlie. He's just cruising tonight so far.
Well, he's made 8 outs, 4 by strikeout, 4 by ground ball.
A little softer breaking ball that's kind of moving away. You can protect the thumb a little bit on those. Those kind of get out into the pocket of the glove. The sinker's coming back the other direction. That's the one that really gets in there. That's the ball they talk about when you'll hear catchers say, this guy throws a real heavy ball. Well, usually that's the guy with the sinker that's got good velocity, because that ball comes in there. It feels like he's catching a shot put. And sometimes it feels like that on the bat also, like you're hitting a shot put.
And Charlie hit the spot, hit Buck's target, and now it's 1-2 to Venable.
There's that shot. Now that's the ball that comes in and just crushes your thumb. Looked like he tried to get that one out in the pocket a little bit, try to protect himself. Called for a 4-seamer. He's done that a couple of times tonight. Charlie's gotten ahead 2 strikes. Give that target up about the letters.
In the air to right field, and Marlon Byrd had a can of corn. A 12th pitch inning for Charlie Morton. Very efficient, retiring the Padres 1-2-3.
Baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Barrel Automotive. We're driven to be better. And by Levin Furniture and the all-new Levin Mattress Stores. For a great deal on a new bed, shop Levin's. Let's go Bucks!
Bottom of the third inning, no score. John Buck leading off against Tyson Ross. Buck swings at the first offering. Hello back at you. You got a lot of fans, Bob. Buck to center field. Fuentes there. 1 out. Let's go down by the Pirates dugout and visit with Robbie.
Yeah, Clint Barmer's coming up the bat, and a very special message out to the Meade, Longmont area of Colorado, where Barmer's son Wyatt celebrating his 6th birthday today. Got the big Lego set for his birthday this morning out there in Colorado. So Wyatt, Daddy wanted us to say happy birthday to you over the air. He misses you, he loves you, and he'll see you soon. And enjoy the Legos that he has out there. So Mom, Summer, hanging out there watching the game right now. So cool day today for the Barmer's family. Clint, of course, wishes he was there, but a good day. And Wyatt has some new Legos, Tim.
Yeah, I think his first project should be to build a replica of PNC Park.
That would be a nice one to go for.
Although his neighbors in Meade, Colorado might want him to build Coors Field, but PNC's nice. They look good, made out of Legos. Happy birthday, Wyatt.
I hope they have a successful evening, Coors Field tonight.
And the Barmer's family doing okay in Meade in spite of the serious flooding that has ravaged that area. And Clint down on strikes, 2 men out in the third. And Charlie Morton up for the first time tonight. See what Charlie does with the bat. He's hit a few hard lately in his last couple of outings. Takes a strike.
Well, Charlie's big enough to pound one a long ways.
Swing and a miss, 0-2. Tyson Ross 3-8 on the year. Charlie fouls it off. He has not had much run support from his teammates. Over his last 9 starts, the Padres have scored a total of 10 runs.
Thanks. Look, he's not going to get much tonight either.
If Charlie keeps it up, they won't score many. Johnny? Charlie fouls this one into the upper deck on the first base side. No balls and 2 strikes. Padres have the 2-3-4 hitters, Cedeno, Jerko, and Headley up as Charlie strikes out. 1-2-3 go the Buccos. We're going to the 4th inning.
on Root Sports is brought to you by Kia. To learn more, visit pghkiadealers.com. By Subway, where winners eat fresh. And by Day Automotive. We're going to make your day. Let's go, Bucks!
Day Automotive, this day in Pirates history. This date, 1992. A rain-shortened game at Three River Stadium. Pirates beating the Phillies 5-2. Barry Bonds hit his 30th home run of the season, becoming just the 5th player in Major League history to have multiple seasons with 30 home runs and 30 stolen bases. Joining his father, Willie Mays, Howard Johnson, and Ron Gant. Barry won the MVP that season, leading the league in both on-base and slugging percentages. Thanks to Day Automotive, we're going to make your day. And we do, too. We root for a World Series title also. That's a great sign. This one hit belongs to the Pirates. Charlie Morton starting the top of the 4th, facing Ronnie Cedeno. Struck him out in the 1st inning.
Tell Charlie wants to get to that World Series. He was humming it. That ball pounded into the dirt.
Pedro made a new friend. They came dressed for the game. 0-1 to Ronnie. Ground ball to short. Charging is Barnes. 1 out. Cedeno is out. And if you want to send a comment, a question, or a thought about the Bucks, you can use the hashtag BucksBooth on Twitter. Maybe, just maybe, we'll use it on the air. Pitch to Jed Jorko's down low for a ball. He walked his first time up. He's the only Padre to reach base so far against Charlie. Two balls and no strikes. 248, 19 home runs. This one is pulled foul. 3 for 5, a home run last night. Ranked 2nd among all Major League rookies with 19 home runs this year. Charlie falls behind 3-1. 11 of his 19 home runs have come in the second half of the season. Walked him again. Jerko down to first base. Charlie just can't get him out.
Jerko likes playing here in front of his friends and family.
Jerko off of first base, and the switch hitting third baseman Chase Headley at the plate. And he takes ball 1. Headley grounded out to Barmes to end the first.
That ground ball right back over the top of the mound. Barmes cheating up the middle and standing right there.
Off the glove of Morna. That's out into right field. Jerko's going to head to third. That's a bad break. First and third, 1 out.
That could have so easily been a deflection right at Walker, but it ended up going behind him. Just barely rolled out in the outfield grass. Let Jerko get to third. That's definitely bad luck. That happens to you. Gotta get that double play ball now.
Tommy Medica grounded out to second first time up. There's the ball to Pedro. He goes to second for 1. The turn didn't get him, and a run scores. It was a difficult turn for Walker on a low throw by Pedro. get the one in the middle, but the walk to Jerko proves costly as he comes in to score the first run of the game.
Yeah, this is going to be a tough double play no matter what. The ball is chopped high and it's right down the line. Pedro's actually across the chalk line a little bit when he is having to throw back towards second base. And very difficult one hopper and then another one hopper over to first.
Looked like his favorite goaltender, Patrick Waugh. Justin Morneau. Or the number 33 in honor of Patrick Waugh. The 33 retired for a pretty good player here. So he doubled it up, went to 66.
Pretty good player here.
Yeah, another good player.
Across the river.
Guzman takes 1-1 now. Runner takes off and pitch fouled back. Medica was heading for second. Remains a ball and 2 strikes to Jesus Guzman. He struck out swinging in the second inning. Guzman did not play in the first 2 games of this series. He did start the day before that, Sunday, in Atlanta against the Braves. Took an 0 for 4 in his last outing. Still 1-2. But the good thing is we see just about everything on the ground. The only one that's been up in the air has been Will Venable's fly ball to Bird in right field in the 3rd inning.
Yeah, this really is been an excellent ball game here early on. As far as Charlie's concerned, he's throwing everything he wants to throw. He's got the good curveball going. The sinker's just pounding downstairs. Just got the bad break on that ground ball that went for the deflection.
One-two pitch to Guzman. Got him. Struck him out for the second time. Pirates need to get some runs for Charlie. Down 1-0 after 3.5. for the Bucks. All the way from Vegas. It's a long way.
Where is that? Nevada?
It could be New Mexico.
Yeah, it could be.
There is a Las Vegas, New Mexico. A lot of people forget that. Nothing in one to Marte. Nothing in two to Marte. During the inning break, Jay Bell talking to Pedro Alvarez. With Jerko at third base, maybe on that play, discussing whether to get the two, take the chance and get the two, or to come home with Jerko running. And Marte strikes out.
Take a look at that play that they were talking about. Now, the ball is chopped right down the chalk line. Now there Pedro has it. You can see that the runner's still a long ways from home, and he could have chose to get the one out at the plate, stop the run, but decided to go for the double play. Perhaps if it was a couple of good throws, they would have had the double play. But getting a double play on a chopper down the line is very low percentage. Probably should have came home with that ball.
Walker grounded out in the first inning to second base. He's 0 for 1. Two balls and no strikes to Neal. With the arm strength that Pedro has, confident perhaps he could pull off the around the horn double play. With a strong throw to second. Throw didn't work out.
Yeah, if there would have been a couple of good throws, they would have had the double play. Everything would have been great. We wouldn't be talking about it, but they still can understand why you might have wanted to come home there. So how many times are you going to turn two on that particular play? 50-50 at best.
Neal had thoughts that was a ball, but it is 3-1 instead.
Might have just tickled the corner.
And Walker hits the 3-1 right to Will Venable. It's an atom ball to the right fielder for San Diego, and there are two men out for the Pirates. Get the latest on your favorite teams, upcoming program, and exclusive promotions sent right to your inbox by signing up for Root Sports Weekly eConnect. Just visit rootsports.com and enter your email address. That signs you up. Root Sports eConnect. Go to rootsports.com. Sign up for it. Andrew McCutchen batting with 2 outs, nobody on. Same situation he was in the first inning when he was hit by a pitch. 1-0 San Diego.
96. Ross really pumped up on that first pitch.
Ross can throw hard. There's number 38, but up until this year wore number 66, and he had a reason for it. 0-1 to McCutchen. And he fouls it off. He grew up on 66th Street, or played baseball rather, on 66th Street in Oakland. And he was issued that number as a non-roster invite when he first got to the Oakland Athletics. And he said, "No, I'm an athletic. I grew up in Oakland, played on 66th Street, just down the street from the Coliseum. I'm going to wear 66." And had that until this year. Everybody's always got a reason. I think, what was your reason? That's just the number they gave you?
It was hanging in the locker when I got there.
Number 17. Didn't you have another number before 17 with the Pirates?
Yeah, I wore 18 for a couple of years and then showed up. 17 was in the locker, so I wore 17. It was a much two number changes back in those days. Now it seems like you have to negotiate come up with gifts, all that sort of thing. Before, if a veteran came to the team, you gave up your number. It was simple as that. And when Bill Verdon came back as a coach, he was number 18, the Quail. 18 was his. And I got switched to 17.
2-2 to Andrew. Two balls, two strikes to McCutchen. Third base and Headley fields. Pirates gone in order again. And Tyson Ross has faced the minimum through 4 innings. 1-0 San Diego.
Matt Harvey on the DL since August 27th. Instead of going for surgery, which will require him to miss a really long time, possibly north of a year, he's going to begin a throwing program in an attempt to avoid surgery. And I spoke to John Buck, who is his Mets teammate for the last couple seasons and a close confidant and friend of his, and he said, hey, if there's anybody that could overcome this without doing surgery, it's Matt Harvey of all people. He's the type of guy that you're going to have to pull the reins on him, if anything. If you set a program and say, hey, this is what it's going to take to get yourself healthy, Harvey's going to do everything he can and then some to get it right, Tim.
Raymond Fuentes tries to bunt his way on. Morneau fields. Walker there, safe as Fuentes. Just beat it out. And a bunt base hit starts the inning for the Padres. That's their second hit off of Charlie.
Put that one right down in a perfect spot. I don't know how you can really defend that other than play your first baseman right in on the grass to start things as the pitch goes in. You got if somebody proves to you that they're that good that they can put the bunt down like that, you got to move in, take it away. But that is tough to do.
Walker got there and still made it a bang play.
And not only do you have to bring your first baseman in, second baseman also has to come way in, at least halfway, and cut down the distance he's got to go.
Now Charlie facing Rene Rivera. Rivera grounded out to Alvarez at third base in the third inning. Take it.
So important for Charlie to keep those runners at first base. I mean, it's important for everybody, but with Charlie, you know he's going to get a ground ball most of the time. 70-some% of the time, it's going to be a ground ball. You want to be able to get that double play if you can.
One strike to Rivera. Rivera hitting .211 this season. Started Monday, went 2 for 4
Not very fast, too. He'd be a great candidate for double play if he could induce him to hit a ground ball to the left side.
He's grounded into just one this year. So he's due.
It's not because of his speed.
No, he's due.
Watched him go down the line his last at bat.
Fuentes off of first base. The pitch. There's a chopper to Pedro. Got one play. They'll get Rivera at first. Safe at second, Fuentes. AT&T tweet: with Cole's dominance of late and Groundchuck's consistency, who's your three-man rotation in the playoffs? Who do you like, Bob?
I like them both. I'm glad I don't have to make that decision. I mean, they're, if Charlie was pitching great before the foot problem, and then a couple of bad games, but again tonight he looks super. Cole, I mean, he's been fantastic. His 3 starts in September, he's got a 1-something ERA. It's not going to be an easy cut and dry, situation as far as saying, okay, these are the guys that are going to pitch in these spots. Of course, Liriano, he's been basically the ace of the staff for the entire year. And then there's your veteran, AJ. So, not sure what they're going to come up with.
Ross swung so hard, he threw the bat behind him.
I think the way things are looking right now, if they don't change the rotation around and you use the same 5, I think Morton throws the last game of the season.
That'll be the Sunday in Cincinnati. Nothing in 1 to the pitcher, Tyson Ross. 1 ball, 1 strike to Ross, with Fuentes the runner at second base. Saw a shot of Liriano moments ago. He'll start the opener Friday against the Cincinnati Reds here at PNC Park. Opposite Matt Latos, also having a very good year. And a ground ball to short. Barmes flips to first base. Morneau tags him. 2 out. Barmes throw down the line. Morneau made a nice play.
Morneau very good around the bag at first. Two outs.
Will Venable back up? Venable is 0 for 2 tonight. 273 average. And the pitch to Venable. Breaking ball in for a strike. Charlie's last outing was a no decision against the Cubs on Friday. 5 innings, gave up 3 runs on 4 hits. And didn't seem to have his best stuff. And talking to the manager, Clint Hurdle, about it the next day, he said, Charlie did well for not having his full arsenal of pitches working correctly for him. But tonight, it's a different story. Even though he's behind 1-0. The only blemishes really for Charlie, the 2 walks to Jed Jerko, and the walk in the 4th inning proving costly as Jerko came across to score on a double play turn attempt. That was not turned. Raymond Fuentes at third base. 2 outs, 1-2 pitch. And he struck him out. Venable down on strikes. Charlie Morton has struck out 6.
be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Pittsburgh Pirates.
1-0. We go to the bottom of the 5th inning. Pirates struggling offense this series. Scored only 2 runs through almost 2.5 ball games. Not going to find a way to support Charlie Morton on the hill. Tyson Ross delivering to Justin Morneau. Morneau with a base hit. He's 1 for 1. Inside. 2 balls in, no strikes. Morneau had a bit of an RBI drop before coming up with one on Sunday, his first as a Pirate. Puts this one on the ground to Jerko. 1 out. 1 out in the 5th for the Bucks. MLB.com at bat is celebrating 5 years as your #1 mobile app for live baseball. It's available for iPhone, iPad, Android, BlackBerry 10, and Windows Phone 8. At bat delivers Pirates baseball with live audio, pitch tracking, stats, highlights, and a lot more. Text at bat to 31826 or visit Pirates.com for details. He's staring at that hot dog. He had the pacifier and he said, I don't want that. I want the hot dog.
Had a nice hot dog for dinner tonight. Tasty.
0-1 pitch coming to Bird.
I like it when they have kind of ballpark food for us downstairs. Fingers.
He took a wrong turn at Albuquerque.
Getting a little gray handlebar mustache.
The A's, by the way, lost today in extra innings to the Angels 5-4. Oakland was preparing to clinch a playoff spot. They'll have to get some help tonight. See what happens between Tampa Bay and Texas. Comes out of the glove of Rivera. So the count stays a ball and 2 strikes. Beautiful moon tonight. We get into late September, the 18th of September. Temperature at game time 71 degrees. Just a beautiful night in western Pennsylvania. 1-2 to Marlon Byrd. Sign store on the Strip. October offer. Mention Bob Walk and get 17% off.
Very nice.
Yeah, that's very nice, Bob.
Yeah, there's some clever people out there.
See, they didn't know you wore 18. Otherwise, they'd offer 18 off too, probably.
You mentioned ban the DH, you get another 3%, get the full 20.
Bird fouls this one off. Well, if they have a sign store in Atlanta and you're there, they'd have to offer 41% off or even 50. We were number 50 down there at one point, didn't you?
No, just 43.
Just 43?
Yeah.
I thought it was 41.
No, 43.
43% off.
41 was Eddie Matthews.
Oh, Philadelphia, you wore 41.
Yes. I know, there was a bunch of them. It's hard to keep straight.
On the ground to Ronnie Cedeno. Pirates need to find a way to get some base runners here. They're through 4 2/3. And Tyson Ross is just cruising. He hasn't allowed more than 3 batters to come to the plate in a single inning yet.
He's faced the minimum.
The one hit by Morneau in the second inning, but Morneau was erased on a double play ball. Hit into by Marlon Byrd.
Think we've jinxed him enough now?
No such thing as a jinx.
Well, if there is, we got him good. This is going to be a base hit. Here's the test right here.
Oh. Ball one. Well, Andrew Kashner, who started the first game of the series Monday, nearly pitched to perfecto. Tabata broke it up in the bottom of the 7th inning with a leadoff base hit. He was perfect all the way through 6, and then for the remainder of the game he was perfect after the Tabata single. 1-1 to Pedro. Alvarez 0 for 1 tonight. He's 0 for his last 15. He's been struggling a bit lately, just waiting to get hot again. He does hit in streaks. Down the left field side. This ball is foul. Just sliced away from the foul pole. He had enough distance on it, but the ball turned left.
A little too much side spin. Maybe 10 feet. He knows he's got the distance. He's going to go into the jog, but wouldn't hang on for him. Need to give it some body English or something. Talk to it a little.
1-2. And Pedro down on strikes. The minimum through 5 innings for Tyson Ross. And it's a 1-0 San Diego lead. Or Saul going to beat him at the tape. Let's see. Pierogi's running after 5. A photo finish. Hockey season is a couple of weeks away, but you can see your Pens back in action tomorrow on Root Sports. Pens travel west for a preseason matchup with the defending Stanley Cup champion Chicago Blackhawks. Tomorrow starting at 7:30 with Penguins pregame on Root Sports. There's a frozen pond again. The leaves turn brown. The Buccos have the crown.
Very nice. It sounds like a Dave Parker saying.
You see his T-shirt? Showed the demolition of Three River Stadium.
I remember that morning.
Ronnie Cedeno leads off against Charlie Morton. Padres a 1-0 lead. Pirates with only 1 hit. The offense has really been scuffling this series against San Diego, and really tonight is a night they can't afford it. 0-2. 10 games to play after tonight. Cincinnati is up on Houston in the first inning, 2-0. As Houston continues to not put up much of a fight against the Reds. Walker with a backhand play. plenty of time to get him. Nicely done by Neil Walker.
And Neil's really been very, very good this year going to that backhand. This has been a real strength of his on defense, is going to his right, moving up the middle, and just stealing the base hits. Good positioning. Had him playing up the middle anyway. Didn't really have to go all that far. That's most of the time. That's what good range, good defense is where do you start before the pitch even gets there?
1 ball and 1 strike to Jed Jerko. Charlie does not want to walk him. He's walked him twice in the 4th inning. Came back to bite Charlie as Jerko ended up scoring the game's only run. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Now to Jerko, hitting .248. Well, what are you seeing out of Charlie tonight that you didn't see in his last outing on Friday against the Cubs?
Great stuff, great control.
New season high for Charlie Morton with 7 strikeouts. That's one thing we didn't see. Strikeout numbers up.
Seeing a lot of swings and misses on fastballs way inside. That I think tells you a little bit about his stuff. That ball is really eating those right-handers up.
Ball 1 to Chase Headley.
How many bouncing balls have gone, to the backstop tonight? Can you remember? I think I can recall maybe 1. I think that's all about the control, because a lot of times you'll see him really struggle with the control of that curveball of his. Tonight he's pretty much putting it where he wants to, trying to backdoor it for strikes when he needs to, and then if he goes for the strikeout, it's not bouncing way out in front of home plate. It's bouncing either right in front of Buck or just barely getting to his glove.
Headley way behind, 3-0. 2 outs, bases empty for San Diego. He walked it. 3rd walk by Morton. Another AT&T tweet. You can never have too much electric stuff, right? Look at all the Morton jerseys. He's got 37. Charlie also was.
Have to salt those away somewhere.
Looks like that's a 32 from Indianapolis in AAA. Who likes Charlie Morton? Tommy Medica. Strike on the inside corner, nothing in 1. Medica drove in the game's only run. Fielder's choice in the 4th.
Didn't see a Braves jersey there.
Yeah, there was.
Oh, there was?
Yeah.
Is that
on the
way
left.
up top left?
The one on the left, number 50.
The dark one. Oh, okay.
Ball and a strike to Medica. Medica's first big league home run came off Cliff Lee for the Phillies. He's done well since coming up from Double-A. Bypassed Triple-A. Padres brought him right to the big leagues. Starting his 8th straight game. And he gets back to first. I don't know if the bird likes the likeness or not.
It's the right color.
Walked by Buck. 2 balls and 1 strike. Blocked by Buck.
Good job getting that glove right down in the dirt.
One of the things that Clint Hurdle talked about today was the blocking of his catchers, particularly Russell Martin. But he's talked about the defensive ability of both John Buck and Tony Sanchez also. Ground ball towards short. Barmes. Foot to Walker. And that's the inning for San Diego. No runs, no hits, one left. Through 5.5, 1-0. Padres. One run on 2 hits for San Diego. No runs on 1 hit. Not much offense to speak of tonight. Bottom of the 6th inning. John Buck will lead off against Tyson Ross. And Buck fouls this one down the right side for a long strike one. Buck is 0 for 1. He flied to center field his first time up. His last home run came against the Padres when he was still a Met on the 15th of August. In San Diego. Again, fouling it down the right field side. All right, reason to celebrate.
They're not getting much offense tonight, but you're getting some foul balls, though. At least some of the fans happy. We're looking for some hits here.
It's outside 1 and 2. And again, base runners. Pirates have had 2 base runners tonight. McCutchen was hit by a pitch in the first inning, then was caught stealing to end the inning. And Morneau had a base hit in the second. He was erased as part of a double play hit into by Marlon Byrd. That has been it as far as traffic on the bases. And Buck strikes out. Let's go back to our Root Sports studio right now for this game break with Rob King. All right, that's the story there. Cincinnati and Houston in interleague play. Reds getting the jump on the Astros again tonight. Barmes into the glove of Cedeno. And there are 2 out.
You know, one of the things we're going to have to do maybe is just hope for a little luck tonight, even when we're hitting the ball well. And some atom balls. Nice play by Cedeno, but that ball was hit pretty well. We've had Some line outs to the outfield. Running out of innings.
Ross has retired 13 straight, 14 if you count the double play hit into by Bird. So he's on a roll. He's on an absolute roll. This pitching for San Diego has come alive this month. They've struggled through many parts of this season for Bud Black. Cashner almost perfect the other night. Best outing of his major league career. But the pitching a big reason that this club is 5-3 on this road trip. On the entire road trip, they've allowed 23 runs, which turns out to be a little less than 3 runs a game, about 2.8 runs a game.
And now he's got 3-0 on Charlie. Striking out Buck, getting Barmes fairly quickly on that one hopper to short. He took a little walk around the mound. He's trying to get his thoughts back together. Does not want to lose his opposite number. I think Charlie would take again to force him to throw three in a row over the plate.
3-1 pitch to Morton.
Taking all the way.
Tyson Ross putting together one of his best starts as a big leaguer. And Morton to right field. That ball is going to curl into the seats.
Well, it's kind of like the one that Pedro hit the other way, and all that side spin on it. Looked good off the bat, but just wouldn't hang on.
Two to Morton. Tyson Ross winding. Here's the payoff. And Charlie to the right side, right at the first baseman, Tommy Medica. 3 in a row again, and through 6 innings. Still, Ross has faced the minimum number of hitters. Combination of Pirate wins and Nationals losses will trim numbers off of that, but right now the Nats up 2-0 as Rob just reported. That's just to clinch a playoff berth. It'll clinch at least that second wild card.
That's nice, but it's not what we're shooting for.
No, the division is what you want.
We're going after the Cardinals.
Jesus Guzman, first ball swinging. Shallow right field, and that drops in just foul.
Thank you.
Landed in no man's land and foul ground, thankfully.
Didn't like the looks of that one.
Strike one to Jesus Guzman. He has struck out twice in the ballgame so far.
6 to 7 inches. Maybe 8. What do you think? Strike him out again? I'm saying yes.
Well, why not?
I'm thinking
twice already.
I'm thinking hat trick. Oh, no, didn't get him.
Just gets a little pop up to Morneau for the out. So one down in the top of the 7th. And Guzman 0 for 3.
Definitely sawed him off. Not one of those power type tailing fastballs that just jumps in on the right hand hitter.
And as well as Charlie is pitching tonight, all you can do is scratch your head at the offense for the Pirates this series. That shows bunt. He reached successfully on a bunt base hit in the 5th.
And Morneau way in that time. Now that there's a strike, Morneau backs off a little bit. Pedro going to stay tight.
0-2 to Fuentes.
Even with a fast guy, when there's 2 strikes, you can't back up too far at third. You got to worry about that slow chopper.
Struck him out.
That was easy enough.
Number 8 for Charlie. Iron City Beer presents Sky Blast, powered by Zambelli Fireworks. This Saturday night, 7:05, when the Pirates host the Reds. Stay after. Neon Trees will be here performing all their hits like Everybody Talks and Animal. You already have tickets. Get your passes to watch the show from the field at pirates.com/concerts. It's going to be a big weekend here in Cincinnati in town. Sky Blast a big part of that weekend. 2 outs and 1 strike now to Rene Rivera, the number 8 hitter. He's bounced out to Pedro Alvarez twice. He's 0 for 2. Harvest Moon tonight. Hanging beautifully over downtown Pittsburgh. Line drive to Barmes. And a 1-2-3 top of the 7th inning. 7th inning stretch at PNC Park. Pirates need to get some hits and some runs for Charlie Morton.
Time for the 7th inning stretch. We invite you now to stand, follow the bounce.
7:05. All fans get an Andrew McCutchen t-shirt at the gates, courtesy of Highmark. Get to Federal Street before the game for a Budweiser block party featuring local live music. And you can meet Pirates alum Sean Casey at the Budweiser bar from 5 to 6 p.m. Tickets go to pirates.com/free shirt Friday. Pirates need some hits. That's an understatement. They have been lacking in hits in this series. Had 7 in the game last night, just 1 2 nights ago. 9 hits in the entire series so far. This is game 3. At the top of the order due up. Defensive change for Bud Black's Padres in the bottom of the 7th. Alexei Amarista will take over for Guzman in left field. Tyson Ross to face Starling Marte. He has faced just 18 hitters through 6 innings. The 1 hit belongs to Justin Morneau. And Marte looks to bunt but takes a strike.
Well, they are in tight at the corners. He puts one down. It's got to be a good one. Nice crowd tonight. They're trying to get the Pirates going. You hear the chant.
0-1. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Other than Charlie, there's not much to cheer about so far.
Charlie's been dynamite, with the exception of the walk in the 4th inning. He got away with 1 in the 1st, got away with another walk in the 6th, but the walk to Jed Jerko in the 4th has ended up producing the only run of the game. And it belongs to San Diego. 1-2 to Marte. Marte was asked about his right hand last night after the game, if he felt any ill effects, and no, he's playing basically pain-free right now. So expect to see Starling Marte back at the top of the order on a regular basis. Sits safely in 6 of his last 7 ball games. And he swings and strikes out for the 2nd time tonight. Neil Walker is 0 for 2 tonight, but he's had some success against Tyson Ross in the past. In the series earlier in the summer in San Diego, he put one on the beach. Does that again here.
Bushes.
The ball game. Yeah.
Go Bushes here.
Go Bushes. Go anywhere over the wall. That's what it might take.
He's one of the guys that have hit the ball hard tonight. He had a fairly good line drive out to right field his last at bat.
The Pirates have out-homered their opponent 61-33 at PNC Park this season. So the home run's been a huge part of their offense, but it's been lacking in recent days. Concourse again busy tonight. Be busy again this weekend with the Reds in town for the final series of the regular season at PNC Park. Pirates wrapping up the home schedule. With 4 games left after tonight at home.
Ross throwing a pretty good sinking fastball himself. That one was 94. It looked like the bottom fell out of it. See that last pitch, number 3. Another one, same thing.
He's got his McCutchen jersey. He's looking over the other stuff. What's he going to pick out next?
Well, hopefully he can say he got his McCutchen jersey of the year. He won the MVP.
Those are game used ones down there in the bottom.
That one, you can tell it's been used. Dirt all over it.
This strike 3, and Walker is going to get on base. Strike out wild pitch. And Walker is aboard, so the Pirates with their first base runner since the second inning.
I said earlier, maybe we're going to have a little luck tonight. I was kind of thinking about some ground ball base hits. But the ball in the dirt is not blocked. Like Rivera just trying to pick it out of the dirt like a first baseman and missed it. Ball got up off the top of the glove and right into the seats.
So base runner on the bottom of the seventh. Pirates have the tying run aboard. McCutchen at the plate. He's 0 for 1. Hit by a pitch in the first inning. Grounded out to third base in the fourth. And the more you read about the late season MVP candidates, the more writers around the country are starting to say that they believe Andrew McCutchen is going to win it. One ball, no strikes to Kutch. One out, Walker on. Two balls and no strikes to McCutchen. And Rivera will go out and have a word with Ross. Now, figure that you got to give him a strike at some point, or at least catch part of the plate at some point.
Well, that's a huge play. Not catching that strike three pitch has put Ross in a little bit of a hard spot. Get the Pirates' best hitter at the plate now with a runner on base and just a one-run ball game. Ross is having to work.
Two-0 to Kutch. 3-0. And now Ross is a pitch away from pushing the tying run into scoring position. To Andrew McCutchen, hitting .404 this month. Justin Morneau's on deck. And with one out, McCutchen facing a 3-0 pitch. And Tyson Ross. Greenlighted him. Hits it high and deep to right center. Home run number 20 for Andrew McCutchen. And the Pirates in front 2-1.
Put that in your MVP pipe and smoke it. You smoked that one. Pirates take the lead.
Number 22 is a 2020 man. And the chance of MVP echoing all over PNC Park.
Strike three wild pitch has really cost Ross big time.
A well-deserved curtain call for Andrew McCutchen.
McCutchen way out in front, 3-0. He could really cherry pick and look for something that he really wanted. Just set on fastball, and there it is, right down the middle.
He loves to go that way, too. Opposite field power. He knew he was going to see something pretty good on a 3-0 pitch in that situation. And he got it. Allegheny Health Network Supermo giving us a good slow look at it. 2-0 to Morneau. 3-0. Good stuff right there.
That is great stuff. What it's all about.
The Bucks got Charlie Morton a lead now in the bottom of the seventh inning.
Star player coming through.
And Morneau belts one to right field for his second hit of the night.
Ross trying to go by him inside. Morneau would not allow it. Fastball in. Morneau turns on it, hits it hard through that hole. The Padre bullpen is going. A little discussion to buy the bullpen some time. Maybe some calming words for Ross. Morneau's night is done.
Felix Pie will come on and run for him. Pirates getting some speed on the base paths late in the ball game now. Pie's run, a very important one. Pirates, again, as you mentioned, looking for some insurance. But the offense has been dormant through this series so far. And Andrew McCutchen hits his 20th home run. He's now in the 80s in RBIs, by the way. Still behind Marlon Byrd's 83. McCutchen with 81. Now another good run producer at the plate. Ball 1 to Byrd. Action in the bullpen. Right-hander Dale Thayer going for the Padres. Colorado and St. Louis have started in Denver. The Rockies with a 2-0 lead in the first. There goes Pie for second base. Rivera's throw. And Pie can't believe he was thrown out. Looked like he got his hand in there. Clint Hurdle's going to come out and get a clarification from second base umpire Bruce Dreckman. Looked like Pie stole it. A head-first slide by Felix Pie appeared, at least from where we were, to beat the throw. Now we'll slow it down before we get a look. Oh, yeah.
Beat it easy.
He was safe by a long way. Right there. His hand touches the bag. He's tagged low on the back. That's a bad call by Bruce Dreckman.
They got him right on the back of the belt.
And Hurdle having his say. And not going to change the call. Felix Pie appeared to be safe, and we could not believe it.
Yeah, he was safe. That was a bad one. There was a couple of calls was it last night over at first base that were missed on some pickoff throws that went the Padres' way.
Tim Welke, the crew chief, who's behind the plate tonight, was the first base umpire last night, and missed 2 of them over there. Nobody on, 2 down. And Byrd hits it to third base. Headley's got it. But the Pirates finally get to Tyson Ross. A 2-run home run by Andrew McCutchen on a 3-0 pitch. Kutch drove it the other way, and the Pirates now lead by a run at PNC Park. time later in tonight's game, brought to you by Miller Lite. Andrew McCutchen, a 2-run home run, 20th of the year, to go along with a stolen base total of 27. He's the second player in Pirates franchise history with 3 straight 2020 seasons. Barry Bonds did it, 90, 91, and 92. And you were a witness to Barry Bonds.
3 good years right there. Very, that was a specialty of his for many, many years. Hitting home runs and stealing bases.
Gabby Sanchez comes in to play first base for Justin Morneau. And now Charlie Morton pitching with a lead for the first time tonight. 7 innings, 1 earned run, 2 hits, 3 walks, and a season high 8 strikeouts.
He's only thrown 85 pitches. He's got a lot of quick outs on some ground balls and keep that pitch count relatively low.
Well, Mark Kotsay will pinch hit for the pitcher Tyson Ross. Now Ross, who was so strong, he faced the minimum through 6 1/3. And then it turned around on him when the wild pitch on the strikeout of Walker allowed Walker to reach base. And then on a 3-0 pitch, McCutchen drove it out to give the Bucks a 2-1 lead. Kotsay fouls off another. Kotsay, incidentally, was the Padres Roberto Clemente Award winner, announced this week. Andrew McCutchen yesterday presented the award by the Clemente family here. The Pirates winner. Mark Kotsay, his final days in uniform as a player, announcing recently that this will be his final year. As his role has primarily been limited to a pinch hitter coming off the bench. He's had good years with the bat. Two balls, 2 strikes to Kotsay. A little bit low. And the count now full. Kotsay announcing that he wouldn't come back the same day that Rockies' Todd Helton announced his retirement. Helton was asked, what do you want to do after you stop playing? He said, I want to be in one of those boats in the river in Pittsburgh. Marte will go to the railing. He'll climb the railing, but the ball's in the seat.
I can see Helton out there on that flyboard. Didn't you?
Yeah, the flyboard we showed the other day, yeah.
See him doing that.
How nice is that tonight? Under a harvest moon, glistening off the Allegheny River. 3-2. Bouncer to Walker. Plays a good hop. And Kotsay is out. 1 out in the 8th. Let's go back to our Root Sports studios for this game break with Rob King.
Yeah, option section 103 actually here, Tim, and Justin Upton, a 2-run home run, is 26th of the year in the top of the 6 off Ross Ohlendorf. Things looking up all of a sudden, not only here, but in Washington, where the Braves now enjoy a 3-2 lead in the 6th, guys.
Yeah, it is a long walk from the studio for the 8th inning, so yeah, you would be in section 103. Rob and Teak getting ready for the post-game show downstairs. But good news with the Braves up and a line drive. Diving stab by Walker. Will Venable is out. Terrific play by the Pirates second baseman.
Venable hits that ball hard, but at this point all that means is another quick out. That's all you care about. Just get the outs. Doesn't matter. Hit it hard. Big deal. Pirates have hit a couple of those tonight also.
Now Charlie will face Ronnie Cedeno. Cedeno's 0 for 3 tonight. He was 5 for 8 over the first 2 games. Strike 1 to Cedeno.
Oh, look at that sinker still moving. Hard to catch.
Ronnie didn't like the call. He let Tim Wilkie hear about it.
Well, Ronnie's wrong. This is a strike.
taking his time getting back in the batter's box. Still not in. And now he's hearing about it from this crowd of better than 27,000.
It's not the first time he's been booed here.
Strike two to Cedeno. That was Bob Walker said that, by the way. Milwaukee.
He's nervous, aren't you?
He just wants Cedeno to get in the box.
Quit complaining. You're getting a lot of hits off us. Take your medicine one night.
.314 on the season with the Padres in the American League with the Houston Astros to start the year. Didn't hit so well. And the one thing Charlie may remember from the time when he watched Ronnie swing a bat here in Pittsburgh, Ronnie will chase a pitch outside. Charlie trying to get him to do that right there. He'll dive over the plate and try to knock one to right field. Cedeno asks for and is granted time, and again is showered with boos. Got him. Strike three. Charlie Morton has matched his career high in strikeouts with 9.
Now with Old Spice. Let's take a look at a lot of whiffs. You know, the thing about Charlie tonight, he tied his career high with 9 strikeouts. You're going to watch a lot of these strikeouts. A lot of the pitches to the right-handers were those sinkers just exploding in on them, and they're swinging right over the top of them. Most of the time, that's what he gets the strikeouts on. Those curveballs. Tonight, the fastball was swung on and missed numerous times. A lot of whiffs. Spicy fastballs.
Spicy. There you go. That's a good description. So, October 2nd, 2010 at Florida against the Marlins. Morton also had 9 strikeouts. Has matched his career high.
Great job by John Buck back there tonight. When Charlie's throwing like he is right now with that 2-seamer that just explodes, he has got to be very tough to catch. John Buck made it look easy back there.
And a chance now for the Pirates to get some insurance. They'll face Colt Hines, making his 20th appearance for San Diego. Hines will face Pedro Alvarez.
Been giving up some runs. ERA getting up close to 10.
What a night for Charlie Morton. I told you at the beginning of the telecast this was his chance to be a stopper. His performance very, very good tonight. Strike to Pedro. Alvarez 0 for 2, flying to center in the second inning and then struck out swinging in the fifth. Mark Melancon getting ready. Strike 2 to Pedro Alvarez. One-two pitch. And Pedro shoots a foul up into the seats. Count stays a ball and 2 strikes to Alvarez. A game like tonight, nobody's getting a lot of at bats. This is just his 3rd plate appearance. Stays alive. Nobody on, nobody out for Pedro. Bottom of the 8th inning, facing Colt Hines. Hines last worked on Thursday against the Phillies. And he tossed a scoreless 6th inning before being taken out in the 7th after loading the bases. Get charged with 1 run in that one. His big league debut this year in July against the Giants. 2-2 to Pedro. Struck him out. Alvarez 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts tonight.
Pedro's front side really opened up on this breaking ball. It's going down and away from him. He opened up so quick, just ran out of bat.
So Bud Black is going to take the ball from the left-hander. And he will now go with the right-hander. I'll tell you about him when we come back. 2-1 Pirates. For San Diego as John Buck will come to the plate. Right-hander Dale Thayer comes on.
Thayer been on a lot. 68 appearances on the season, 63 innings. A lot of work out of the pen for him. He'll try and get these last 2 outs. Come on to face the right-handers. Barmas on deck. Of course, nowadays in September, well, not nowadays, but in September, it's so tough to get those kind of matchups that you really want. The dugouts are so full of possible pinch hitters. You're never quite sure when you make a move if the manager's not going to make a counter move. Old classic right there, isn't it?
Yes. Old school sign, but swinging bunt. Thayer throws on to first base, 2 outs. Let's go back down to section 103. Rob King has another game break.
Thank you, Tim. St. Louis and Colorado, bottom of the first, scoreless game. Troy Tulowitzki facing Adam Wainwright, and Tulowitzki will single to right. This will score a couple, and the early lead to Colorado up 2-0 in the first. Guys,
I like it.
Things looking good so far. That's a 4-game series in Colorado, by the way, between the Rockies and the Cardinals. And Cincinnati and Houston playing a 3-game series. Cincinnati will have a day off tomorrow. They're up 3-1 in the fourth. So the situation as far as the magic number is concerned, Bob, is that number is at 6. Pirates win tonight, and Atlanta hangs on to beat Washington. They'll trim it down to 4. Barmes takes a strike. 1 ball and 1 strike. And the magic number that we refer to right now is just to guarantee a postseason spot.
Guarantees you a wild card spot in the wild card game.
And once that is done, we'll recalibrate. Look forward to the division. Two and 2 to Barmes. Also, another part of the scenario tonight is that if Colorado hangs on to win, and it's early there, but if they win tonight and the Pirates win here, then it's a first place tie again. Nice play by Headley, and a good pickup by Medica at first base to retire Clint Barmes. We are headed to the 9th inning, and Mark Melancon trying to close it out. Turnaround tomorrow afternoon, 12:30 game. Padres and Bucks wrap up this 4-game series. Ian Kennedy will be on the mound opposing Garrett Cole. Matchup of right-handers. Cole has allowed just 1 run on 8 hits in 14 innings over his last 2 starts, while striking out 16. So 12:30 matinee start. Make sure you're here with us as coverage begins at noon. We're hoping to raise that very shortly. Pirates 3 outs away.
3 more outs and on to the World Series.
Well, wish it was that easy.
Still a few more games, but that's the idea. Mark the Shark in charge of getting these outs. There are the numbers. Looking for save number 17. ERA outstanding, down almost an even 1. He has 51 base hits in his 67 innings of work.
Melanson will face 3, 4, and 5 in the Padres order. Jed Jorko, Chase Headley, Tommy Medica. People don't forget their Jolly Rogers when they come to PNC Park, do they?
Nope, can't forget the Jolly Roger.
It's a great sight. It really is.
All right, now inning's about to start. We got to put him down. Wait for the last out.
Jed Jorko standing in. He scored the lone Padre run after being walked by Charlie Morton in the 4th inning. 0 for 1 with a strikeout, walked twice. Jorko hitting .248. Melanson looking for his 17th. To right field, a base hit, tying runs aboard. First pitch that Melanson throws, Jorko drives to right.
He's pretty good.
He's turning into a very good player.
They definitely got something there.
What we've seen of him in the 2 series so far, both in San Diego and here, he's been very good.
Got pop in his bat. Nice approach there. He knows he's going to get cutters from Melanson. So stays back, stays inside the baseball, singles the other way.
Pirates will look for 2 now. Chase Headley, switch hitting third baseman, batting left-handed against Melanson. Ball 1. One for 2 for Headley tonight. Singled off the glove of Justin Morneau in the 4th. And the 1-0 pitch. Right by him for a strike. 1-1.
Melanson reaching back. Nice pop at 94 with that heater.
One and 1 to Headley. Headley's had an off year, but he's had a resurgence in late August into September. That's strike 2. And when you face a guy like Melanson, and Headley knows this, you're going to get the cut fastball. You're going to see the cutter. It's just a matter of whether you can hit it or not. Melanson learned his cutter while he was with the Yankees from one of the best ever. Mariano Rivera taught him. Popped him up. This ball is drifting over the Pirates dugout. The count will remain 1-2 as John Buck chased it to the railing. Melanson was smart. He is smart, and he was smart when he was with the Yankees. He kept his eyes open and his ears open, and he paid attention to Rivera.
He's a very intelligent pitcher, that's for sure. You can tell when you talk to him, he really thinks a lot about what his job is and how he can best go about getting these outs, reading the hitters.
Headley to left field. Starling Marte makes the grab. 1 out.
And a fastball again that time away. Popping it good at 94. I don't know if I've seen the curveball from him tonight. Lately he's been throwing quite a few hooks. A lot of cutters and fastballs to this point.
Guys in the Shark Tank looking on. Jason Grilli in the middle. So Tommy Medica, young first baseman, spent the year in the minor leagues in Double-A, and here he is in a big game for the Padres in September. Bigger game for the Pirates. Strike 1 to Medica. Medica, an RBI on a fielder's choice in the 4th. Grounded out to Walker. Kept the ball on the ground 3 times tonight to an infielder. One. For Mark Melanson, who spent most of the season working the 8th inning until Grilli got hurt, took over as the closer, didn't miss a beat. Just a couple of years ago with the Houston Astros, he had 20 saves. Now Medica down to his last strike. It's 1-2.
That's what it's all about, isn't it? Pennant race, 1-run lead, 9th inning. 1 out, so tight. Total games are starting to really count down now. Everything is so important. We're staring at the scoreboard. This is the kind of baseball we've been missing for a long time. Here it is now.
Struck him out looking. Melanson gets the punch out, and now the Padres down to their final out. Everybody's up. Better than 27,000 on hand on this Wednesday night.
Right on the corner.
So Bud Black knows he's down to his final out. He's taken Jed Jerko off the base paths. And of all the guys he could have pinch running, he's gone to his starting pitcher from 2 nights ago, Andrew Kashner, who actually stole a base against the Pirates. He has 2 steals on the year. Kashner, one of your better base running pitchers. Chris DeNorfia will be the pinch hitter. Melanson trying to finish off the Padres. Oh, late time call. Melanson was just about to deliver. DeNorfia was lucky he got the call from Tim Welke. Kashner at first base, held on by Sanchez. 2 down. DeNorfia hits it to right field. That's a base hit. Bird will gun it to second base. Cut off by Walker. And a 2-out pinch hit single by Chris DeNorfia. And now the tying run is in scoring position. The potential go-ahead run at first.
Did exactly what Jerko did. He stayed inside the baseball, kind of guarding against that cutter that's going to run away from him, and able to just poke that ball into right. Things get tighter.
Logan Forsythe will be called upon to come out and pinch hit for the Padres. We're trying to fight their way back with 2 down in the 9th. And the Pirates trying to hang on. Mark Melanson looking to close it out. And this nice crowd here tonight waiting patiently to see the Pirates back in the win column. Ten regular season games to go after tonight. Just 4 here at PNC Park. And again, a matinee game tomorrow at 12:30. Ian Kennedy against Garrett Cole. Reds come in for 3 starting Friday. Kashner at second. He represents the tying run. A 2-1 ball game. Pitch to Forsythe. Ball 1. .310 career pinch hitter. This This is the first time he's played in the last 5 games for San Diego.
Nervous looks.
1-0 to Forsythe. Now it's 1-1. Forsythe came in as a pinch hitter in the 8th inning last Friday against the Braves. And he ended up having the game-winning RBI single to give the Padres a 4-3 lead, and it snapped an 0 for 14 skid for Forsythe. Padres would take 2 of 3 from the Braves in that series. One pitch. And a base hit to right field. Bird's going to come up throwing. Here comes Cashner to the plate. It's offline, and this ball game is tied. It's 2-2 in the top of the 9th inning. Logan Forsythe comes through again for the Padres as a pinch hitter.
3 hits to right field. They had good game plan going into this inning against Melanson, not trying to pull him. Take him the other way. All 3 base hits, just kind of punched out that direction.
Logan Forsythe at first base. Over at third is Denorfia. And Cashner scores his 2nd run this series, this time as a pinch runner. Rene Rivera, the catcher, at the plate. Cashner, good athlete and a good base runner. Padres had no choice here but to send him, and head first slide beat the throw.
And throw off to the first base dugout side. That's what kind of got him in there. If that throw's on the plate, I think he's going to be out. Buck had to move off to his right to get the ball and open everything up for that head first slide.
One and 1 to the catcher Rivera. Melanson. One ball, 1 strike pitch coming to right field, and this ball is fair, and it's going to get another run home, and the Padres now lead it 3-2. The Padres were down to their final out tonight. 4 hits in the inning off Mark Melanson, and they now are a run ahead.
Well, they certainly have got a game plan about how to hit Melanson. They're sticking to it. Everybody going up there is trying to do nothing but hit the ball the other way. Whether it's inside, outside, everybody doing the same thing.
Mark Melanson's going to get a visit. This is something you rarely see. Ray Searage coming out to give Melanson a visit.
Probably got one more hitter, and then that'll be it. He'll be pulled regardless. So 17 pitches.
Tony Watson going now. And Hurdle checking on the status of the left-hander in the bullpen.
Got Venable on deck.
Oh, what a hush has come over this crowd. Just a
few minutes ago, silence. They were on their feet. The flags were waving.
Kyle Blanks, another pinch hitter, batting in the 9th spot. One ball and no strikes to Melanson. His 3rd blown save this year. And now he's on the hook. 1-0 pitch to Blanks. And a bouncer to Barnes. Throw on to first base, and we'll go to the bottom of the 9th inning. Pirates need at least 1. 2 will win it. It's a 3-2 Padre lead. Down to their final out. 4 hits off of Mark Melancon, 2 runs produced, and the 2-1 lead gone. It's now a 3-2 Pirate lead. Melancon on the hook now. Charlie Morton will get a no decision after pitching 8 terrific innings tonight. And a new pitcher on for San Diego. And it is Houston Street who returned to the ball club today after missing the first 2 games of this series following the death of his grandmother. He went to be with his family and then has returned today.
And looking for 31 saves, just has 1 blown save this year.
You're right about that approach. Those Padre hitters went up there against Melancon looking to poke it to right, the right-handed hitters. They were successful 4 times out of 7.
Blanks got up there, tried to pull the ball and immediately put it on the ground to Varmus.
With 2 outs, Denorfia got it started. He goes to left field. Will Venable moves to center field. And the right fielder is Kyle Blanks. Logan Forsythe at second base. Forsythe, the RBI base hit, scoring the pinch runner Cashner that tied it. Garrett Jones to face Houston Street. Strike 1 call. .125 as a pinch hitter, just 3 for 24. But the Pirates looking for at least 1 good swing against Houston Street. Get Melancon off the hook. Strike 2 to Jones. Padre closer facing the Pirate pinch hitter Garrett Jones in the bottom of the 9th inning. All of a sudden the Padres are looking at taking the first 3 games of this 4-game set. The Padres have never lost a series here at PNC Park since it opened in 2001. Pirates looking to change that if they can get at least a split. But they're going to have to do some magic here in the bottom of the 9th to do it. Jones hangs in there. Jones has 100 career home runs. 98 of them have been with Pittsburgh, 2 with Minnesota. This year with 14 of them. Street's 1-2 pitch. And Jones looks at it outside. It's 2-2.
Street's just trying to pick that down and away corner. Staying right there. Doesn't want to make a mistake pitch that Jones can hit out of here. Everything just down and away best he can. Do it again. He's going to take a shot at it.
Ronnie Cedeno will wait for it. There's 1 out.
That ball was very low. Huh? Oh, hell. Garrett got underneath that one. What's the location of this one? That's a tough one to pop up.
Starling Marte facing Houston Street, looking for his first hit of the night. He's 0 for 3. He's struck out his last 2 times up. Pirates need a base runner. Ball 1. I think they'd prefer Marte be the base runner.
Got some pop. I'd like to see him jog around the bases. Be nice.
Ball
Street
1 strike now.
Is really trying to guard against that. Everything away to Garrett when he was up there, and now first 2 pitches to Marte just right on the outside edge. Playing him to hit the ball the other way in the air, pretty much straight up in the infield.
Starling Marte, his second straight start. Mark Melancon certainly interested in what's going on here. He doesn't want to get hung with a loss. Marte in the air to left center field. Denorfia will call for it. And the Pirates are down to their final out. My oh my. This game will drive you nuts some night, won't it?
Sure will.
Well, Walker up now. He's 0 for 3. He's the last hope for the Pirates tonight.
If this is the way it ends, and you know, I know that Melancon's going to feel awfully poor, but Pirates again have to do more on offense. Can't always beat McCutchen all the time. Just 3 base hits tonight's ball game.
Andrew McCutchen, our Honda player of the game tonight. Pirates would love to see him get up here with 2 outs. Get Walker aboard again. 2 balls and no strikes. Home run number 20. And the second Pirate player ever to have 3 straight 2020 seasons. Barry Bonds the other. .2-0 pitch to Neal. And Walker hits it high to right field. This is going to do it. As Blanks is under it. And the Padres will win this series. They've taken the first 3 games, and the Pirates, who are in position to shave at least 1 off the magic number, see this game go by the wayside. Mark Melancon gets hung with the loss here after getting hit 4 times to right field, facing 7 men in the top of the 9th inning, with the Padres down to their last out. They came back and won it tonight.
Just a really tough loss, but you know, when you only get 3 base hits through 9 innings, you're not going to win many of those games. Offense has to do more. Wasted an awfully good start tonight. And of course, you did have the game there. If you could win it in the 9th with the save, didn't happen. But Atlanta still leading 4-2. Looks like the magic number is going to come down 1 anyway, we hope.
It'll go down to 5. And Cashner has an impact again as a pinch runner tonight, scoring the tying run. So a very disappointing night. Andrew McCutchen with his 20th home run of the year, and it goes for naught as the Pirates fall to the Padres for the 3rd straight night. 3-2 the final score. San Diego wins it. Let's go to Robin Teak.
Tim and Bob, thanks very much. And yeah, Teak, this was a